Alrighty. We are live.
Are we?
I think I timed it pretty perfectly that time. One of these days I'm actually going to sit down and do that the right way and fix the video. But I made that like a year ago and I don't think I saved anything, so I'm going to have to like basically do it from scratch. So we'll see if I ever get around to doing it or if I just get better at timing it. Anyway, welcome to the Pathfinders podcast. This is episode 58. Pretty sure that's what I put down.
58?
Yep, 58.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
I
so.
was 10 behind.
'Cause every time I make the announcement, I have to go back and look on my YouTube and be like, wait, which one did we just do? um, we are the Pathfinders, and we are charting the way through all the nebulous information surrounding Star Citizen, Squadron 42, and their development. I'm Tree0311, here with my partner in crime.
Hello, everyone. I am Nazeris. I am hearing everything twice.
Uh-oh.
There we go. It's fine. I opened the thing and it was playing ads. I'm trying to log in. All fine. Having a new browser is great.
New browser. What'd you do?
Yeah. I'm trying to switch over to something less Chrome because of RAM and my 100 tabs.
I could see where that would be an issue.
And so I switched over to GX, but like it doesn't have like half the features I actually need. But nothing other than Chrome will. So that's gonna be a problem.
I could see that. Yep.
So I don't know if I'm just gonna stay like between the two, or if I'm going to switch back to Reddit. That's what we get for psychological things. I don't know if I'm gonna be switching back to Chrome or staying on GX and just using Chrome every time I need something. We'll have to see what the next couple weeks hold.
Chrome is going to have to really screw up for me to have to switch. I am getting to be that age where I get a little bit set in my ways and I'm not really good at changing and keeping up to date with things. And it's like, oh, that requires a lot of effort and time that I don't have. But yeah. Oh, so before we launch into the monthly reports, tell me, how did last night go? I wasn't able to catch it. I was busy with family stuff.
Last night, as I was trying to do, so there we go. For those who don't know, I run a new podcast on every Sunday, 8 p.m., called the Content Creators Roundtable. If at all it happens, eventually we might cover other things than Star Citizen, so I'm kind of soft dropping the SC off of it. But we get some content creators. We sit down and talk about whatever the topic is for the day. For the last 3 episodes, it has been CitizenCon and basically 321 this entire time. And last night we had on Hoban, which is the COO of No Forge Industries, which is my org. And we had Hey, it's Nick and Tomato. Space Boy on it.
Cool.
And it was great. It was actually really fun. Like we've got a lot of like good ideas going through. It was a really good show. It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. All of the co-hosts were great. We talk about cooking and how like cooking in VR and how 2 of those things could coalesce to a really cool steak flip. So if you guys are interested in seeing any of those content creators and what they think about the upcoming CitizenCon, upcoming patches in general, the state of the game, like definitely go check that out on the NoForge YouTube.
I'm gonna pull up the link right now. Maybe. I have too many. There you are. Videos. Is it under
Lives?
live? Streamed 1 day ago. Copy. And paste. Bingo.
That's the one.
Yeah, very cool. Let's see.
Wait, what happened?
I mean, obviously I've been on
Oh,
Tomatoes podcast once with you, and then once with Paul and Mike and Morph, because I was the backup quarterback, the backup token bald guy to Board Gamer, and which I'm very proud to be. Like, that's going to be like the highlight of my content creator career is, the stunt double for Board Gamer.
That's great.
But then I think was it last year? I think I was on Paul's 24-hour post Citizen Con captain's table, and on one section it was me and Nick, and on the other I was with Dog Demon. And yeah, I really enjoyed talking with Nick, hanging out with him. He's a good time. And oh gosh, it was Dog Demon was on. We were playing SC with Paul on Sunday afternoon when we were doing our relic expedition. He came on and hung out, so that was a good time. But yeah, and this evening we're going to be going over the Squadron 42 and Star Citizen monthly reports combined as usual by Naz, in order to make things efficient and be able to understand what is shared and what is not. And actually, Naz made a cool little chart.
Yes, I've been wanting to do this for the last couple months, and I finally, because I got off at 4 today, I was able to actually have enough time to go back and data analyze the quantity of words, and that's how we're getting these pie charts. So I made pie charts on how much of the monthly reports are shared, how much is for Star Citizen, how much is for Squadron. And so there's 2 pie charts with that, one with those 3, and then one using the shared. What is how much of the entire thing is Star Citizen, how much is the entire thing is Squadron? So we have 2 pie charts.
Nice.
Hopefully we can get those on the screen for you guys.
Yep, I already got them pulled up. I like pie, and I like pie charts. So
I like data. So
yeah.
There's a reason I jumped all over the MSR the second they announced it. And was very disappointed when my center engine went away.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
I will never forgive them for that. Sarah
Eminem
McCullough had
Shadow,
a perfect,
07.
stupid concept. It was perfect. They shouldn't have changed it. I don't care. I can fit in Ursa now.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be going over the monthly reports this evening. We'll get into that here in just a minute. Elephant in the room. The schedule for CitizenCon came out, and it's like, oh well, dang it, there goes our prediction episode. But at the same time, a lot of the descriptions are a little bit nebulous.
And we've talked about
but so
what we were expecting.
I was
for a
hoping
while
we could get that episode done before it came out, but of course, just busy. But we're still going to do that episode next week, and on Monday we're going to look at the schedule, and we're going to go through each panel and talk about what we're expecting from that panel and why. So a lot of the things in that panel, like a lot of the verbiage, is kind of gray, and so there's a lot of things where we can pull things like from the monthly reports and other sources and be like, hey, this is what we're expecting from this panel based off of this, and this from these monthly reports, as an example, because it's not like they spell it out and say, oh, this panel we're going to be looking at the star map, and this panel we're going to be looking at asteroid facilities. Yeah, I said the word. Yeah, so we're gonna
partially that and not that. I don't know. I just thought of another thing that I need to mention. I am running a contest. I don't know if there's going to be a ship at the end for whoever wins. So prizes are still TBD. But who can predict the next 4 quarters? So let me grab the
predicts next 4 quarters of what?
Star Citizen development. So on the Nazeris Discord, we're gonna do a thing. I haven't actually made the official contest stuff yet. There's a thing in my arm. Interesting. It's on this arm. I see. Aha, there's a wound on my arm. Interesting. But yeah, I got my predictions in a nice little image, which is 4-0 about Q3. And then how I predict the testing things to go live. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna see. And it has to be like specific. There has to be an amount of specifics there. It can't just be, well, I imagine we'll get X amount of patches in the next 4 quarters. It needs to be some type of actual prediction. And I lost the window with you on it.
No. So I'm with on Wednesday. I'm Wednesday night. I'm on what's called a reverse 24-hour shift. So I start in the evening and get off the following evening, versus normally we start in the morning and get off the following morning. And so we've been really slow at work during the day and busy as hell at night. And so I'm hoping that I don't get worked to death overnight on Wednesday night, so that way on Wednesday I can work on a video, because I'm doing a video. I have an idea and I've started working on the script, but I'm going to do a short video, a few minutes, maybe a little bit longer, explaining why I don't think we're going to see server meshing in 4.0 in any way, shape, or form before the end of this year. And because I got lambasted by a few people in YouTube and various social media for saying that, and they're like, oh, but they said back in January that they're gonna change. They're doing jump points and going from server to system to system, so that way they can deliver pyro. I'm like, they said that in January, a full 2+ months before PES committed ritual suicide all over us. Do you really? And then since then they came out with a big old long postmortem and told us about all their lessons learned from that, and how they're not,
and exactly how they're going to be rolling out server meshing,
and exactly how they're rolling out the prerequisite tech to server meshing. What?
Yeah, it's and when 4.0 was the road to pyro instead of Nyx, it's still the road to pyro. They're not putting in pyro before stupid freaking server meshing.
That's a silly discussion we had in my Discord. They're like, they could sneak in Nyx. There's a chance. I'm like, no, there's not. No,
I am not going to be closed-minded on that one. I think there is a chance that they don't stop putting stuff into 4.0 because of how delayed 4.0 is. Like, yes, they have all this time to make, pyro as good as possible, but there's a point when, like, especially like the Planet Tech people, the mission people, eventually you run out of work.
Oh yeah, the Planet Tech
people need to find a new challenge.
Well, like much of anything in ages on pyro. Like they had the oh gosh, what's the team that works on the flora and fauna? They went back and did a pass. I don't know if it was them or a team within them, but
yeah, Planet Tech was done a year ago. Yeah. And the spacescaping didn't get done though.
Work in progress exploration of 1, maybe 2 planets is what we've seen.
So they were done about a year ago.
Yeah. And so they literally worked on it, a mix of full and part-time, for 6 weeks. And that was just basically, hey, what can we get done with the tool in this amount of time? And then they stopped.
Yep.
And then all they've done since then is given Nyx or Levski a medical clinic. And people are like, oh, well, they might have reworked the entire... No.
No, they specifically said we put in the medical clinic, but there is more work to do, and we'll do that when we get there.
Yeah.
But again, the roadmap hasn't been updated in such a long time.
Yeah. I mean, the roadmap going forward. We are up to date as of now-ish. But like, hey Jake, where's my progress tracker? Little dude in the suit with the finger down. Where's my progress tracker? But yeah, so next Monday, Naz and I will cover the schedule for CitizenCon. Because then on Friday morning, the day before CitizenCon starts, I'm flying out to LA and I'll be checking into my hotel, and I'll be at CitizenCon and at the VIP party, and I'll be taking as many pictures and giving everyone as many live updates of things that aren't on screen that you guys aren't automatically seeing as possible, to give everybody as much of the experience that you might not get if you're not there in person as possible, and share that with all of you.
As somebody who's going, so for those who don't know, we do now have the schedule for the panels. There are so many screens. And there's a giant gap at the end. That is not where is there it is. So there's a giant gap at the end of day one. As somebody who's going, do you want there to be a time to go do booth stuff, go see attractions?
Here, before we do that, let's switch to the other screen so that way we can pull up the schedule. We'll talk about it for a couple minutes, and then we'll get on the reports.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2,
because you're actually going, it makes sense to like ask someone who's going. Because if someone is not going, like me, like no, I don't want there to be void space. More content, better.
All right, so hold on. Let me pull it over to here. Whoa. All right. So you're talking about day one, this gap.
Yeah. After the navigating the universe.
Navigating the universe goes for, and here's the thing. We can assume. I mean, I'm assuming this is an hour, but it doesn't necessarily say it's an hour. Yeah. But it makes sense with the shapes that venue closes at 7. Here's 6 to 7. Here's 5 to 6. And Jake said that it was. See, Daddy, you know about the patches. Patches. We don't need no stinking patches.
No.
For a little reminder for everybody who hasn't seen them, these guys. Hey. Ooh.
Hey, your chroma key's not pulling them out this time.
That's what's wrong. Wait, how's my green screen working?
That's very confusing. I don't know what you did.
I did. Well, that's a problem to be solved by future Tree. North End Trooper, I don't believe so. I don't remember. I went to the CitizenCon in 2018, 2948. I didn't have a backpack. I don't remember if they... No, I think we had to... When we went in, people had backpacks, but you had to have it inspected as we went through.
That makes sense.
They checked the backpacks. And like that's when you got your goodie bag and everything. But yeah. So yeah, I had the majority at 2018, 2948, your time to check out the booths was before the show got started and during your lunch break, and then basically we went right up to the end of the day and the venue closed like after the last presentation, like, hey, we don't care where you go, but you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Okay, so specifically you, as you are the attendee at CitizenCon in person, do you want time to look at booths during that last 2 hours, or would you rather a panel there?
I think 2 hours is a long time to socialize, especially given that, as far as I know, there's another Bar Citizen this evening, day one evening, because there's a Bar Citizen the night
booths
before.
Won't be there. Whatever demos they're running.
But I mean, you've got a whole hour at lunch break. You've got 2 hours from when the doors open to the start of the first presentation. So it's like, really, do we need 4 hours?
And another 2 hours the next day. 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then 7 hours.
I mean, yeah, we want time to socialize, but you could cut that in half and I'd be just fine. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to see. And Jake told us that this little thing right here where you can see the 30-minute mark was a misprint, and I think that could very well be a misprint, but it also could be Jake deflecting because that's Jake's job. So Don't know. Yeah,
I
that
mean,
little guy. Don't worry about that.
It could be a misprint because they weren't supposed to put it on the schedule. Like that kind of a misprint.
Blizzrad, I'm going to be taking I have the Polaris shirt and the Nautilus shirt. I'm going to wear the Polaris shirt probably the first day, and the Nautilus shirt the second day. Just because they're black and they're easy to pick stuff that goes with them. Yeah, just look for the shiny head. My beard will be a little bit shorter because I have drill. Well, no, it should probably have been grown back by then. But yeah. So next Monday, Naz and I will be going through the schedule section by section, and each of us will be talking about what we're expecting for that section, as well as we're expecting this because of insert citation here.
Yeah, so we're gonna stop talking about this now. We're gonna put it away because we're going to get distracted and talking about it again.
Yes. Yeah. Curse you people for distracting us. And here's Naz's,
we have a job to do.
Yeah. Beautiful charts.
Are they?
It's a pie chart,
basic,
and it's got nice colors. But real quick, we want to explain what these are, and then we'll get into the monthly reports.
All right. So the top one is both the specific and the shared on each squadron in Star Citizen. And then the bottom one splits the shared into its own category. So in the top one, let me actually switch over to the thing so I can read off some data points. That would be here. Yes. In the top one, so all in all, 60.9%, almost nice, is Star Citizen related. 39.1% is Squadron 42 related. Breaking that up, Star Citizen takes up 55.1%, so a majority, and only 29.9% is specifically Squadron, and then both of them have an additional 15% that is shared between the two. And that breaks up to Star Citizen only having 2,065 words, and then plus the shared, it gets it up to 2,629. And then Squadron 42 is only 1,121, and shared it's 1,685 words, or the only amount they share is 564 words. So yeah, I've been wanting to do that for months, and I'm so glad I was finally able to.
Nice. Good work, because like
going
pictures.
forward, that's the plan.
Pictures of data are better than just straight up numbers.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the monthly reports. And as usual, Naz goes through the 2 monthly reports and collates them into a single document. That way we're not reading the same thing twice when it's shared between the two. And we will denote when we're going back and forth between something that's on the Star Citizen monthly report, something that's on the Squadron report, and something that is shared. They're color-coded. Nazeris copied and pasted them into different crayon colors for me.
It takes me a good hour plus to do all this, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
I sincerely appreciate it.
And I believe like this entire document's in the show notes when you publish it, right?
I only do show notes for when we do things besides the monthly reports. Otherwise, I just copy and paste the links on the CIG or the Robert Space Industries website to the 2 reports. So I don't want to give away your secrets.
That's fine. It's heck, we can put this into a Dropbox or like spreadsheet or whatever the heck. Like the more data for the community, the better.
Sure.
Like we have a nasty lack of sensical research in the community right now. With people thinking 4Os before end of year. And jump points mean pyro and this, that, and the other thing. And apparently I just can't post anything on Reddit ever without getting absolutely slammed. Even if it's not like anything specific.
The only conspiracy theories that I'm indulging in right now are that the 3 o'clock Living on the Edge segment is about asteroid facilities.
That's later. That's next week. Shh. That's
next week. Okay. Yep. and and that we're going to get a 6 platoon single player campaign following Squadron 42. They're going to
Yeah, because we have no like actual data for that. That's just like you hoping.
Yes, it is my conspiracy theory. You can't take it from me. You can't take that or the sky from me.
As we have discussed fervently, and we will probably have another fight about it eventually, that the Polaris still isn't built.
Pegasus.
Yeah, that one.
Gonna say, don't you dare, Nazeris! Don't you take that from me?
No, the Polaris is coming out probably Invictus or soon after.
And John Crew will hear you, and he'll take it away.
Do it. Make more people cry. Because I have this weird, like, I've come to this point in my appreciation of Star Citizen that I would actually be okay if it ended here. And they said, hey, for whatever reason, Star Citizen is stopping here. Everything stops here. And I know the internet would absolutely melt down and people would like celebrate and ride through the streets all at the same time. But like, I've been here. I put money in. Obviously not as much as some, but more than most. I had fun. I followed a project I loved. But if they can't, they can't. And I would be completely fine if it ended, and it would not harm my being. I am come to this stoicism point that I'm just, if it happened. I have so many more important things to worry about in my life. A video game is not on the list.
I'd be okay with it if the reason it stopped happening was like alien invasion, zombie apocalypse.
Literally, the hand of God said no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything else is I'm gonna fling some poo violently, and it won't even be mine. All right, monthly reports, and you're starting us off, and we start.
Oh, that's something I totally forgot to do.
What?
I totally forgot to like actually assign the bits.
No, you did.
Yeah.
The legend is there.
Yeah, the legend's there. I didn't actually add them to anything. So while you're doing AI feature, I will add them in. So as we are to do when we are reading Star Citizen documents from CIG, or Star Citizen and Squadron 42 documents from CIG, we like to read the headers so that we communicate fully the purpose of said document. So we do this with the monthly reports and with the roundups. So on the PU side, we have the monthly report, September 2023. It is an exciting time in and out of the verse with the upcoming launch of Alpha 3.21 and the return of the in-person CitizenCon on October 21st through 22nd. Check out September's PU monthly report for final tweaks to content you'll be experiencing very soon, and progress on features coming later in the year and beyond. Oh, okay. They added the and beyond this time. And then flipping over to the Squadron side, if you're going to put it on screen, I don't know.
Before we do.
Okay.
Check out September's PU report for the final tweaks on content you'll be experiencing very soon, and progress on features coming later in the year and beyond. So as we go through the report, whatever one of these things is, that we think applies within this, we're gonna remind
call
everyone
back. Yeah.
This is what they're talking about. Okay, Squadron 40. Ooh, I'm zoomed in. Yikes.
That's fine.
Actually, yeah, let's zoom. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I cut out a lot of the weird lore headings. So just subject development update 10/04/23. So welcome to September's Squadron 42 development report. Enclosed, you'll find details on our latest progress made across the campaign, including updates to the female animation, flight sequences, and performance capture data. Thank you for your continued support for Squadron 42. Sincerely, CAG Communications. All right, so then you get AI features starting with SC and then moving on to Squadron.
Okay. Am I zoomed in on this side? Oh, that's weird. Huh. Is that too big?
No.
Okay. All right, so AI features, starting with Star Citizen. In September, AI features focused on the ongoing male-to-female animation retargeting, ensuring that Pyro's female characters are up to the same standard as their male counterparts. Recent work included retargeting combat and social animations. This is an initiative on both the Star Citizen and Squadron 42 side because they've been working on the female special ops characters for quite a while and all their stuff for Squadron 42. On the code side, the team worked on PU performance for the upcoming patch. They also solved issues involving NPCs not reacting to players pointing guns at them and fixed bugs with usable alignment slots not working as intended. And then on the Squadron 42 side for AI features began the month resolving an issue with vandal attacks not harming the player or friendly AI. That sounds like it's working as intended. They also fixed behavioral issues related to AI taking cover, which will also enhance the situational awareness of friendly AI when encountering enemies. The team then began providing animation support for cover transitions for each of the in-game factions. Issues were also addressed with attack and defend areas to ensure that AI units correctly advance to or defend a designated location. Significant progress was made on a key battle, with the team implementing behaviors to allow the enemy to learn from the player's actions. Oh, great. Now they're learning. CIG is... Yeah, this is how CIG begets Skynet.
I'm here
These
for it.
learning behaviors, will prevent players from exploiting specific actions to win. So none of this whole learning their behaviors, their patterns and stuff, and then just gaming it. And okay, he's doing this, so in 3, 2, 1, and then boom, you win.
Yeah, I
they'll be more
super love
reactive.
that. Speedrunners are going to be furious.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it won't be perfect, but I think it's going to be it's a big step up compared to what we're used to, in like what you're talking about with speedrunners and just being able to memorize things as if they're
I
a robot.
imagine. I'm hoping that the leap forward in the AI, and I've seen pretty much enough evidence to support this anyway. The leap forward in AI is going to be as big from current as Halo 1 was for their current.
That's a good analogy.
Like Halo 1's squad mechanics were just bonkers compared to the FPS AI that was around. And with the token system and the search systems and all of these things that you just talked about, like there's plenty of evidence to support that this is going to be a major leap forward in enemy AI in FPS games. I have not played Squadron, or not Squadron, not Squadron either. I've not played Cyberpunk. I don't know how good their AI is, though. I've not actually seen if they're decent or just cannon fodder.
I thought the AI was pretty good in Cyberpunk. I thought they did a pretty good job. I think that out of all the game RPG points that they spent, I think they probably spent enough in the AI systems, but I don't know if it's to the level of what they're going for with Squadron. Hey, Abdi Johan 07, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in chat and coming and hanging out. Let's see. Throughout the month, the animators concentrated on improving male to female retargeting to ensure that female Marines move naturally during combat.
Nice.
See, that's what I was talking about. They also continued to provide animation support for crouch locomotion. Now, when players adopt a stealthy playstyle, AI buddies will follow their actions and crouch accordingly, just like in Starfield. And
hopefully not so jank as Starfield is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and that's it for
AI feature.
AI features. Yep.
Okay, so all but the last line of AI tech is shared, so you can stay on Squadron or move to Star Citizen. It doesn't matter.
We'll just stay on Squadron. Makes it easy.
All right. So AI tech. AI tech continued developing various features throughout September, including Boyd's, the Apollo tool, not the Apollo ship, and begin focusing on performance improvements and polishing existing features. Remember, this is also Squadron. So 1, we know there's Boyd's now in Squadron. 2, we know that they're polishing Squadron.
Mm-hmm.
So like, everyone put on the tinfoil hats, which I will have for the 48-hour stream.
Well, and it's a good good example of how the code base is shared. Like this is basically tells us every month what things are easily and readily shared when it comes to the code base.
Yeah. So most tech for those, I know Tree knows this, for viewers, most tech teams are core engine teams, not the engine team. Yeah, core code base. There we go. So anything the tech teams are doing is going in the base layer, and then the feature teams work on top of that. Feature teams can decide if they're going to use the tech for Squadron or Star Citizen. But tech goes in the base level foundation of the entire engine, and that's the kind of stuff that is always shared between the two. That engine and graphics. So tech teams, engine team, and graphics teams. Continuing on, for the Boyds, the base structure that allows the designers to define Boyd states, wandering, fleeing, idling, dead, etc., the transition between them was implemented. Yay, we have a state machine. These transitions contain rules, rules including when they should be selected, and animation data such as birds taking off and landing. Iteration was also done on suitable physics properties for Boyd agents that need to be affected by gravity to walk on the terrain, or to walk on terrain. The team also added health component to agents so players can damage and potentially kill them. So yeah, it's if anyone has ever opened Unity, they know exactly what this is. Okay. They built an animation state machine. That is easily within the first month of learning any engine is learning animation state machines. So it's like,
I have a serious question.
Go ahead.
If it's a flying Boyd, will it poop on our ships and vehicles? Are we gonna have?
I freaking hope so.
Magnus seagulls or whatever that are gonna fly in a flock over the spaceport, and if you're not parked in a hangar, get some Windex and a squeegee because you're gonna have to. How much does it cost to have my ship washed versus just repaired? Mm-hmm. Not the poop mechanics we want, but the poop mechanics we need.
I want cleaning mechanics. I want to be able to polish the floors of my ship. I want to be able to scrub the outside of my ship like I would wash a car. Like, I want that kind of stuff. I want to have to scrape off my windshield because of Magnus seagulls. Oh man, I want that kind of even if it's not gameplay, I want that kind of visceralness to the world. All right. For the Apollo subsumption tool, so not the ship, the tool that builds subsumption and lets them add subsumption behaviors to NPCs, the team completed an error reporting panel that will provide detailed information on behavior issues. This will help the designers to catch problems sooner and solve them more easily. Various quality of life improvements requested by the designers were implemented too. Very nice. It seems very in a good state. That is not proper English, but you know what I mean. Performance improvements were also made with the team looking closely at systems that impact performance on dedicated servers. Do we have any subsumption running currently in 320?
I don't know. That's the thing is we haven't gotten an update on where they are with the subsumption level AI in terms of its implementation. They're working on it in the background and haven't integrated it because we don't have server meshing yet? I don't know, because that's what I thought was this is all the new AI behaviors, and we're waiting for them to be integrated until we have better server performance. But I'm not sure.
Isn't there, life in the first person? Now that's for FPS stuff. it could be some Sunderman stuff. I don't know. All right. For example, optimizations were made to how navigation islands compute after parts of the navigation mesh are regenerated. For navigation volumes, code was cleaned up, and event dispatching was moved to update job, which better distributes to multiple threads. The team are currently investigating and implementing optimizations to planetary navigation generation and pathfinding request processing. A lot of make it easier for the server to calculate navigation points.
Yep, because that can be a pretty resource intensive process.
Yeah, it is one of the
to
most.
Rock around and do all that, and not only generate the meshes, but also generate the paths going from. Well, yeah, because that's the issue with the AI not getting out of the reinforcement cutlasses. Is it's a pretty resource intensive thing, and so it's constantly getting broken in terms of the generating of the path and connecting the two the two
navigation meshes.
Yeah, the two meshes where they can walk. A, the ship, and then B, the planet. So
yeah. And I don't think they haven't said anything about like crowd AI being a thing. So they are trying to navigate every singular NPC. We don't have, like in the Invictus ArcCorp video, there's thousands of NPCs. There's crowd AI in that video because you're not going to animate every single one. You say you like put in these animations and then apply it to a crowd. As far as I know, there's no pathing crowd AI like a lot of games have that want to do thousands of AI on screen. So getting this optimized is very, very important for like actual amounts of like more than 25 NPCs in a place at once. That would be nice because like
they've talked about not only optimizing this but optimizing the different subsumption behaviors and such in order to make it more lightweight.
Yeah, we go into these cities like this is ArcCorp, a heavily industrialized, millions of people per square kilometer. And it's just like you see 25 in the main plaza of the entire planet. It's just like doesn't really feel like it. Like the NPC kind of it's summer vacation. Always summer vacation. A small update and new functionality were added to the collision avoidance system. Now collision avoidance agents have support for skipping and ignoring lists. That's gonna make them crash. Which is used when agents move together as a group. Oh, okay. Didn't we read this like last? Oh no, I read this here and then forgot it and now reading again. So basically they can say, I have to get close to this other ship that's in my group. So I'm going to, pull in and ignore that collision avoidance call. Kind of like we ignore our collision alerts when we get close to group ships. Same type of deal. For NPCs using trolleys, improvements were made to collision avoidance.
Chaos!
And a new component was added to the trolley that will trigger the regeneration of navigation mesh when it stops moving. Regarding flow graph subsumption nodes, the team can now generate nodes with dynamic input based on subsumption event descriptions. That is a sentence and a half. That's a lot of data right there. Basically, they now can put in subsumption behaviors that are diegetically generated. There we go. I wonder if because, like, this is what they've been talking about, like, from the beginning. Like, they'll just say you have a 24-hour schedule. Like, you work here, you leave work here kind of schedule, and they let the NPCs do the work. And so, dynamic input based on subsumptions, event description. That's actually really cool. I hope to see that soon. This will help the designer to write more complex behaviors for NPCs and missions. All right. And then the single line over on the AI Tech Star Citizen page.
Oh.
Well, the only line that's not shared, I mean.
Down here.
Yep. Last line. The AI team also supported the Alpha 320 release, CitizenCon, and Squadron 482 teams. Interesting. I mean, that's funny. That's the only Star Citizen line, and it still has Squadron 482 in it. All right, so back to you for AI vehicles.
And they supported CitizenCon. Wonder what they're going to be showing that has to do with AI.
Anything we just talked about, like some substitution.
All right, so AI vehicles for Squadron 42. Vehicle AI, that's AI, but it's vehicle AI, spent September improving various elements of Squadron 42's gameplay. Pardon me. Last month's work involved reworking the flyby maneuver that the ship AI use in combat. It's now much more aggressive and can adapt to what the player is doing. At higher difficulty levels, the AI will do a skidded roll attack during flybys, pardon me, where they roll and strafe slightly as they approach, making them more difficult to hit. Vehicle AI also exposed various features to the designers to help them tune and balance combat encounters, such as burst fire controls for ships. The AI can now also detect when a ship has entered soft death, disabled but not fully destroyed. Enemies will stop attacking in this case. Various tweaks, improvements, and updates were also made to enhance the overall game experience. Back to you for animation on the PU side.
I actually have a thing that I'm going to send you on Discord.
Okay.
It is a part in a video, but there's a diagram of what a skidded roll is. Where did I put skidded roll is?
Very cool.
I just looked it up and found a Star Citizen demonstration, so I know, but thanks for the video. I already lost it. Legacy instructional series. Thank you so much. All right, so we are on to animation. Star Citizen. Last month, the animation team worked towards ensuring all male animations are available for the female character. Again, this is back on tech, or feature. Yeah, this is also what the tech, making sure they can retarget, is a base layer to be able to just say, we made one animation, convert it. And this is work on top of that premise in making sure that all the animations work on both. Very cool. A quote from the animation team. And there's actually an extra line there. There we go. You'll see the female character doing more in the upcoming patch. Keep in mind that with this large volume, there will be considerable visual artifacts we need to sort out. The animation team. So that's cool. Ooh, I wonder if we get like female
doing more
bandits
in an upcoming patch. Huh.
I wonder if we'll get female bandits now. It's been kind of weird seeing like all of the like male dudes. Like it's like we live in the year 2953. Can we please have like some some equality here?
Yeah, like what's
they also
face from the IAE with Jax McCleary. Remember? She's like the female pirate. Yeah.
Like most of the pirates we've seen on screen have been female.
Quite a few. Yeah.
The belligerent Doc, they got the people in Jax McCleary, like, because I wonder if that's like trying to equalize since we don't see them in the persistent universe and all the videos are handcrafted. They like, hey, since we see somebody over there, we'll do this.
Yeah, makes sense.
They also created the initial animations for a new creature.
A new creature. As in, to me, this means probably one that we haven't heard of. I think this is an unannounced
that
creature.
Could be like, yeah, I think that's actually fair. Because I was going to say, well, this could just mean that they Have
Well,
they
like, this
officially
is the
talked about the dog yet?
Yeah, in Squadron 42.
Okay.
Yep.
That they still might mean the dog, but yeah, I was thinking like they could just mean that they got the animations done, but no, that makes a lot more sense that it is a new creature we don't know because they would have just said, and we finished the animations for the pyro crab or the yeti or whatever.
That's what I would think.
That makes
That's the way I take it, but could be
but
wrong.
the animation pipeline is done. It is working its job.
Animation Squadron 42.
Yes. Okay, what are you doing next one? I gotta see if there's anything. Well, no, I'm not gonna see. I'm trying so hard not to talk about the schedule. Next week's gonna be fun. The gameplay animation team spent the month working on weapon first selects, a key combat encounter, the military pilot multi-tool.
Oh yeah.
Not just a military multi-tool, but a military pilot multi-tool. Interesting. Spec Ops cover animation,
but olive drab. Oh yeah.
and with like little like wings on it. Female animations for missing player interactions and fixes to the firing range security behavior. That is just a list of stuff they worked on. It's a ton of stuff. And this is like, so wasn't animation one of the teams that they said were in beta?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's audio and animation, right?
I'd have to go back and see who was post alpha and who said anime.
I think audio said post alpha and animation just said we're in beta work. Yeah, Jax supposedly should be.
Audio is in Bravo. Bravo comes in between alpha and beta. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. They also focus on cockpit and environmental interaction animation to increase the immersion, pickups for AI medical and ship hull interactions, and a variety of facial animations for flight combat and comm calls. Very nice. I look forward to a lot of that coming over to Star Citizen, especially the cockpit environmental interactions. Because like I have noticed in 3.20 your character does attempts to do an animation to flick a switch to turn on your ship when you do Alt R. Except most of the time it just goes. Instead, in the Gladius, he actually just reaches down and flips the switch. But in every other ship, he's just like, bleh.
Cockpit and environmental interaction animations. You know what?
Yep.
Nope. I'm not going to say it because I have a prediction.
Yep.
But nope.
Yep. That's next week. Else. Write down. We'll say it for next week.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Character art. Back to you.
Moving on. Character art. In September, the character art team finished the Headhunter outfit. Very cool. We're definitely going to see that at CitizenCon. And progressed with the Duster's outfit. It'll be really nice to see more pirates and more variety in our pirates instead of just Ninetales all the time. Alongside this, the character concept art team explored ideas for fauna. Ooh, more animals. Yes. They're exploring ideas because the animation pipeline, like you said, is Dunsky. And medical backpacks. So
what is a medical backpack?
I don't know.
Is it just a backpack full of the Cure Life goo?
Yeah. And prepared handoff sheets for a racing suit. So I'm excited about the medical backpack just because I love the salvage backpack idea that they have where the hose connects, you wear the backpack, you have the gun, and the hose connects and your salvage goes into the backpack or comes out of the backpack and you have a lot more storage for it, for doing repairs or, collecting hand salvage, but on an economic scale. I want them to do the same thing, but make a two-handed mining laser in order to pick up hand minables.
Oh, it's just like for medical. You want a mining backpack for medical stuff? What kind of? Are you doing pyro kind of medical stuff?
We need to mine the drugs and the band-aids.
Did you hear the audio clips for pyro?
Oh yeah.
Clinic?
Yeah. Dark.
It's pretty bad, but there's a bright side. We're gonna need your organs are in great shape. It's like, no, you can't have them. I'm still alive. Okay, let's get to work. Oh, he's dead. Yes, these organs will be ready in a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, he just murdered the dude for his organs. Like, how is there still an
Regeneration.
organ black market with respawning? Just, oh my gosh.
Because it's very expensive. Regeneration is prohibitively expensive. Very much so. And the 3D printing of organs via the regeneration, the bioserum, is also very expensive compared to if you get a donated organ, or a not biotic. What's the other word?
Cybernetic.
Yeah, like a cybernetic organ type thing. I think that's going to be the cheaper option that's more readily available versus, you get an actual organ, or better yet, you get a grown organ, that's exactly like the liver that you had, but that's going to be the most expensive option. Buffs, debuffs, all that sort of stuff.
I want my organ pre-damaged by alcohol.
Yeah. As for a medical backpack, I don't know how they'll differentiate that unless by having it be a medical backpack, it if you put medical supplies in it, it has a higher capacity for medical supplies versus just generic stuff. And yeah, authentic imitation organs. Yeah, like imitation crab, but it's a liver.
I can imagine
looks the same, tastes different.
Having like more utility slots and more medpen slots.
Yeah. That's my first guess thinking about it, but honestly, I don't care. I want one. So, unless now, if they make it so that it hooks up to a two-handed medical gun and has just more medical goo, like some sort of just crazy,
just TF2. It's just TF2.
I will riot and I'll fling poo.
It's just TF2.
Yeah, because that's dumb. The least immersive thing ever. Do not do this, CIG. If you do this, I'm gonna fling poo.
I hope
put my poo in a bag. I'm gonna light it on fire and I'm gonna throw it.
I really hope they show us the backpacks soon, so people can get that whole idea of what they're thinking, and if it's that, to just like, no, CIG, no, don't do that. Like everyone did with like a lot of people, and me included, did with hacking. Like they put out the first teaser and they're like, we've improved on the idea since we last showed you this idea, and then we're thinking like these things. And the second time they talked about it, they said specifically, they are looking at command lines. So put out experimental stuff soon for the medical backpack, please, CAG. All right, so now on to art ships, one of my favorite categories. Like, it's my least favorite in my favorite category because like tech and engine are shiny and graphics are much shinier, but ships are like in the favorite category for sure. In the US, a new vehicle variant was completed. I wonder what that could be. Is it like common knowledge what that is now? Well, no, it just says a new, not two new.
I mean, one might be farther along than the other.
That's
if
true.
We're talking about the same thing. But we know that there's multiple variants going on, not just those two.
We'll see a lot in 2 weeks. Anyway, so that's one ship. With the final bug fixing and polish currently underway. The white box for one of the new vehicles mentioned in the previous monthly report is nearing completion. Last month, the team solved some of the space issues, opting for smaller beds and tighter layout. I wonder what that could be. That's obviously the Apollo. I hope they don't.
Well,
Smaller beds and tighter layout. That's definitely the Apollo.
I feel like they would say Apollo though, if that was the case.
Well, no, because this was starting to be prepared before October, and we got the ISC in October. So it was before we saw the Apollo. My theory is it's the Apollo because they're talking about bed layout. They also separate out.
If it's something specific that is named, they say so.
Right, but we didn't know the Apollo before. Well, no.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think
Apollo's
it is.
announced.
Or I think it is.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
See,
I still think it's the Apollo. They also separate out the base model from the variants.
variants. Yeah, this is a new ship. There's a new ship with new variants because they talked about this. It wasn't just last month. They talked about it before that. In a previous monthly report where they talked about they're planning multiple variants and they're picking which ones they're going to move forward with initially.
Yeah. So far, we're still only at 2 ships then. And then like some tantalizing variants, but I'm not going to count those under there. The Apollo Santokiai is almost content complete. It looks fantastic, including cockpit animations and heavily lean into the alien language. Yeah, with the silver keys buttons on the console, and they're not like domes; they're now spherical controls. That's really cool. The interior pass is also nearly done, including a new map generated specific for APOA. What new map? New map for what? What do you mean map?
I think it's talking about the map on the HUD.
Oh, maybe. The internal UI
Oh,
stuff.
no. Damage map. The interior damage pass is also
okay. That would make more sense.
I think.
That would be cool. Now I want to shoot an APOA. Upcoming tasks included letting Polaris before the LOD pass. Finally, work continued on the remote tractor beam gameplay. Including how the hardpoint should be used to create the best player experience. Wow, that's like the fewest ships they've mentioned in a monthly report in like
it is very short.
Years. 3 ships. And like last time we had 6 ships? Right? Last month?
I just thought of something. We need that animation in Star Citizen.
Absolutely, we need the
to be able
Tusken
to take the Tusken Raider with the weapon overhand, doing that whole deal. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they can't copyright that, can they? Disney won't go after them, sure.
No, they can't. No, I need it. They can't.
No, actually, no. There's precedent, actually, because you can't copyright a dance. Because Fortnite ran into that. It should be good. It should be. They should play completely legally fine. CIG, Tusken Raider chant. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Call it obviously like Sand Person Grunt or something, because we have the Lear 2 people from the 2016 demo.
Yeah,
which I love watching that still.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of lawyer content, and I actually kind of enjoy it, especially when like it's all about just like somebody did something really stupid. Are they gonna be in trouble? It depends.
Maybe.
And then back to you for audio.
All right, audio on the Star Citizen side. Last month, audio focused on pyro, ensuring all essential sound effects were implemented. They also finished tasks for several upcoming ships and are actively working on the new audio thruster and component system. Also, alongside essential bug fixes, the audio code team refined the recently introduced resonance tech and continued developing the Walla system. Very cool.
Walla audio system, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Not the Walla space system.
Yeah.
They're just so darn good at naming crap here.
Oh, dear. Yeah, Imminent Shadow. I agree. I think that's when I read that, I was like, "Oh, Leaks was probably right." Wow, weird. Yeah. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes not. And that's it for audio on Star Citizen. Oh no, there's audio on Squadron 42.
Yep,
and you have community this time. Oh,
yeah, it's weird because of how. Yeah, because you took the first one, I get that, and then you get economy, which is completely backwards. You get my whole C paragraph, you jerk, and then
we had to do that so you had the engine. Yep, it's only right. Yep. Okay, so audio. The dialogue team continued their performance capture pickup shoots and moved on to asset editing and mastering. Content was captured for the breathing system too, which is being prepared for implementation. There is plenty of great quality content recorded to cap off a successful shoot. Focus was also given to the actor status and asset mastering, and planning began for Walla recording sessions to add background chatter to the game's more populated areas. The SFX team continued efforts to fill environments with ambiance in line with SFX being sound effects, with ambiance in line with their sprint milestones. The game's weapons are currently being implemented with relevant sound effects, and the first audio passes on in-game VFX began, such as lightning strikes. Pardon me. We have a fire here in Boise, and so the smoke has been getting at me really bad today. It's so the lightning strikes. I just have to say how much I absolutely love with the new jump point gas clouds in 321 that they're dynamically lit as if there's like lightning going on in the background. Yeah, they've got like flashes going on as if there's lightning propagating throughout the gas clouds. And yeah, we don't have lightning in game yet, but that's eventually as you get to different parts of the gas clouds, there's going to be lightning and you're going to get struck by it. But in the meantime, being able to fly along and see, and it looks like there's lightning in there already. It's just such a cool effect. Oh my gosh, it is peak sci-fi. I really love. They did such a great job of it.
Yeah, Wednesday I think I will be running my head into the PTU wall trying to complete a Terra to wherever Hull Sea trade.
Go Terra to Magnus jump point. Go the farthest you can go. See what happens. Because that's the longest jump you can make in the game right now.
I will be picking up a TS2 first.
The tech required to implement sound into cinematics was also completed, with the team breaking down the effect requirements for Chapter 1 to bolster the impressive cinematics with impactful audio. Very cool. Code and tech were continued on the Walla system, and numerous bugs were fixed too. Back to you for community on the Star Citizen side.
All right. I love how they split this up into 4 different sections.
Mm-hmm.
Split up by pictures. Anyway, love the community. No, everyone, just not everyone. A lot of people put out some just amazing content, and we already showed a video from someone else. And like I said, this is my 4th podcast in 2 days, so amazing. So the community. Last month, the community team continued preparing for CitizenCon 2953. The biggest ever celebration of all things Star Citizen takes place in Los Angeles, California, October 21st to 22nd. Tickets and the digital goodies pack, which I already bought, are now available because completionist. At the beginning of the month, the team supported the Ship Showdown 2953 finals, including a free fly of the Final 4 and the crowning of the Best in Show champion, the Drake Corsair. Before its replacement in Alpha 3.20, the team kicked off their farewell to Port Olisar, allowing players to gain a unique Spectrum badge. They also published 2 patch watch threads, mission featured, and quality of life highlights, some of the improvements and features in the coming patch that aren't on the roadmap. We have an image here by Immortalis. I'm gonna hit. I assume a entry into the farewell Port Olisar screenshot contest. It will be remembered, I think, fondly for me at least. But I'm so glad we have a standard station now. Not because it's better, but that it's ready to be added to features. So as they add features to other stations, it can be also supported for Seraphim.
As Sean Tracy, or not Sean Tracy, what's his face? Eyes.
That you said Sean Tracy, it's in my head. Todd Pappy.
Todd Pappy. As Todd Pappy said, it's future-proofed.
It's future-proofed. Which is always a lie. When anyone says future-proofed, it's always a lie.
It's more future-proofed than...
Yes, that is the correct wording.
by 10 country miles. But yeah, they're but at least it's modular. It's built in the procedural locations tool. It's easier
It'll
for
be
them to
easier
add
to get rid of pieces they don't need
Mhm.
instead of scrapping the entire thing. So less work on this station will be removed. There we go. They then supported the community during Pirate Week, ARG, including hosting a treasure hunt screenshot contest. The team also heavily involved in supporting the release of Alpha 320, fully loaded, alongside the player experience team, community tracked and dedicated player feedback to the latest features and discussed solutions to bugs and quality of life issues with the development teams. They also published the Miss Hull C Q&A and the Murai Fury Q&A with questions on the Fury LX. They also communicated the new feature and updated in Alpha 3.20's Arena Commander overhaul with a dedicated comic and the experimental mode schedule. When does the nice one come back? When does everyone's favorite come back? October 19th. So right before CitizenCon, we get Gun Rush back. That Thursday, we get Gun Rush back. Okay. I mean, if you guys haven't tried Tank Royale, go try it. Oh, never mind, it's over. It comes Tank Royale is gone for the foreseeable future. Next time we get a tank thing, it will be October 15th with Team Tank Battle. That should be interesting. The tank game modes are actually pretty sweet. I don't really drive a tank in the Persistent universe, so it gives me a chance to actually play with tanks. Also, tank battles in the 3.21 should have the storm, right? Either 3.20 or 3.21.1. Once we get tank mode after that, I imagine it will actually launch with a tank mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because Team Tank Battle's ending the 21st, so it's not gonna be that. So whatever tank mode we get after CitizenCon, or if it's held back another patch, which I don't think it will be, we get to use the Nova and the Storm. So super cool. In-person socializing was also not neglected as we brought developers and Banu Thalo code cards to a fantastic Bar Citizen event held inside a public amusement park in Vienna, Austria. Interesting. That's really cool. Inside of an amusement park. As a part of the Bar Citizen World Tour, the community team.
I like how down here this kid is not having it. He was doing something else that he wanted, and Mom went and grabbed him in order to get him in the picture, and he's not happy about it. That's what that face is.
I can imagine this is closer to the end of the day, and he's just flipping tired. He's ready to go home.
Yep. I missed my nap. How dare you?
Yeah, there's another little one right next to the lady in the turquoise.
He's chilling.
Little kids. Future citizens.
They are chilling. Yeah, future citizens.
The people who will play the finished game.
Yeah, start the indoctrination early.
Right, I mean, that's how Chrome is surviving, or Chromebooks are surviving right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was their entire marketing strategy was give them super cheap, lose money hand over fist, giving them to schools so that we get kids used to them and they'll grow up and want to stay on Chromebooks because it's the monster they know. And it worked flawlessly. That's why there's such a big push to tell them that you can game on a Chromebook, but only if you use hardware somewhere else to stream your games through a Chromebook. Which is just ridiculous. I know gaming laptops are already prohibitively expensive, but that ain't it. That just ain't it. If it works for your situation, sure, but the vast majority of people buying a laptop, then buying a service to actually have decent hardware elsewhere, and having to then buy your game on top of that, because that's how NVIDIA now works. It's no. I'm not buying a subscription to a store no. That sounds just so bad. I've always hated that entire model. No, buying a subscription to a store is just such a bad idea.
Unfortunately, it's gonna work on a lot of kids and a lot of their parents who don't know any
Oh,
better.
for sure, for sure.
Not
I
in
will
my
be
house,
the
though.
I
Not
will
in my
be the
house.
stupid ancient pre-millennial that's like, back in my day, we bought video games. Yeah,
We
even
have
Star
physical
Star
copies.
Citizen is probably one of the last MMOs that will ever be made on a buy-to-play form. Everyone that follows will, unless they know, I pretty much guarantee that they will either be subscription because they need to keep up server costs, or free to play with heavy reliance on battle passes and microtransactions. Like, nobody's doing the Bible. Even Destiny is doing the, like, you buy the game, then you have to buy every expansion plus there's a battle pass. So it's like, why not all of them? Oh boy. Okay. Done ranting. Economy team. What do you got?
The economy team. So this is one of our rants from the podcast on Saturday. Is we got told
I've
about the
ranted this
economy
basically every day.
team. Yeah, we got told about the economy team. This is like the second month in a row they've been in the monthly reports, or was it the third?
Since they've been announced, basically, there was one where they weren't, and they've been in every one after that.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's 2 monthly reports now, maybe 3, and they still aren't on the progress tracker.
Tinfoil hat. I think there's going to be a new progress tracker, or
Yeah.
a significant update to the way the progress tracker works. Let's put it that way. Not a new progress tracker, but a significant update to how it works.
I wouldn't be surprised, because that would make sense. Hey, you're gonna do as little to update it until we get this new thing, because that's going to address some of these issues, and I'll make the big updates then, because that way I don't have to do more work.
Because all the stuff that's being added, the roadmap roundups, the release view, and the progress tracker is stuff that is in like the next patch.
Yep.
Like, the only stuff they update is stuff that's in the current patch wherever we're looking.
Yeah. The economy team set up shops at 3 jump point stations to provide the Hull Sea and other cargo ships with additional trade routes.
Wait, who set up these stations?
The economy team.
Are you sure it's not the Montreal, the internet team, people doing server meshing?
Yeah.
Because somebody told me that that they put him in because the pyro's in this patch.
Yeah.
Was it a location team? They do location stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No! It's the freaking economy team, guys!
Additional trade routes. It just means more economy stuff, which is a good thing. Be grateful.
I know, right?
Don't think it's more than it is. Be grateful for what it is, because it's a good thing. This is a big deal, especially with more work on quantum and more things going forward.
This was specifically a addition for haulers.
Yeah.
And it was...
I do hope that they update that graphic on the Hull Sea comlink, though.
I really do hope.
Yeah.
If not, there'll be somebody in the community who does, and I hope it's not me, because that's going to be a lot of work. So the only location in Stanton now that we do not have is the Aaron Halo gates. And we're not going to talk about the schedule for CitizenCon at all. We're not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. But we did see a lot of really early work pretty long ago.
2020, May.
3 years ago.
Don't ask me how I specifically know when that was. It's not like we haven't looked it up before. Yeah.
I think my favorite comment about the economy team, and it was a meme anyway, but it was like, the economy in this economy?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I love it. I love it.
The economy team, they also worked on rebalancing commodity trading in Stanton and Pyro as part of a larger initiative to improve the gameplay experience for haulers and traders. Economy then supported other teams, such as character art and interactables, with pricing for new player equipment. Lastly, new player equipment.
Very cool.
What equipment might that be? Lastly, the tool that extracts live game data to help inform the profitability of various gameplay loops and assist in balancing was completed. This is great. That this tool is complete.
That's literally just part of, not Odin, but is it Odin?
This is the thing that's going to feed into the system
Quanta,
in order to do the generation of, hey, this job should pay this much based off of the cost of fuel, based off of the risk in this area, all those different factors. The tool that extracts live game data to help inform the profitability of various gameplay loops and assist in balancing was completed. This is something that they talked about ages ago. So, Radarid is continuing the gift sub they got from Victura. Oh, I think that means that he re-upped his sub. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Radarid, thanks so much for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Before we continue, I just want to remind everyone, because that reminds me.
Freaking done.
Done with what?
When you search in somebody's channel on YouTube, for some reason, it's like, we'll give you anything but their channel.
Oh.
I'm so freaking done with it.
And perfect timing, the MooBot just was about to finish my sentence for me. God dang, Skynet. In case you're new to the show, new to the channel, all monetization that I get from Twitch and YouTube goes directly in its entirety to stackup.org. This my channel here on Twitch and my channel on YouTube are always 100% charity driven. I take no money for myself. I, in fact, take the money from any Twitch payouts, which include subscriptions and, you guys suffering through ads. And then, pardon me, as well on YouTube. And I donate that directly to stackup.org. And what I do is I take that and I just round it up to the next highest $50. So the last donation was like $113 worth of payouts, and I donated $150. And that's what got us over the 1K mark for stackup.org. So as a community, we have sponsored a loot crate from StackUp, which I have to reach out to their community organizer person and be like, hey, do you have the details on our loot crate that we sponsored? Because they take that money and they buy like a video game system and video games and controllers or whatever, sometimes TVs and such, and they send them to a veteran or military member and their squad, and so that way they can play video games and bond together, combat the effects of PTSD, as well as the effects of being deployed and being separated from your family and your support groups. So it's a very worthwhile cause that I believe in, and we're doing great things together, supporting them. So Radder, thank you so much for renewing your subscription. I appreciate it, and thanks for being a part of the community and coming hanging out with us.
That would be great. I would love if we could, if they within the conversation, like, hey, you want to make sure they get Star Citizen?
Yeah, that should be part of the loot crate, is a game package to Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Be like,
has to be a cutter. Has to be a cutter.
And you have to sign here. In order to receive this, you have to play. And that's how we get them in. That's how we get them, guys.
So the thing I was thinking of is Quasar was the thing he showed in the virtual AI demo, but Hex is the thing that he showed on stage at CitizenCon 3 years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, very cool stuff with that tool. The economy team is going forward. It's the biggest question I have, though, is since it's no longer systemic services and tools, and they're working on things for the economy more specifically, what happened with the AI initiatives that are within, that was, the virtual AI, the security service, the NPC tracker, NPC scheduler, all those things. Where are we with that? Yeah, recruiting recruiting via Loot Crate. But yeah, that's it for the economy team. On to you for straight to engine, right?
Yep.
Engine, Star
All right.
Citizen.
Hold on?
Shared.
Did I screw this up?
Yeah.
Yeah, online services, engine branding, features, graphic tools. Engine. Yes, I did screw up.
What do you mean?
I didn't color it purple.
Oh, Nazeris, no.
And my OneNote just crashed. Okay, now it's all purple. Yay! The engine team. Throughout September, a large portion of the core engine, physics, and entity teams focused on release support. This included optimizing code, looking into server-side memory consumption, and fixing memory leaks. Notice, if you guys have noticed, literally every patch in the PTU has said fixed an amount of memory leaks. Sometimes there's one, sometimes multiple, but they've been finding them and squishing the crap out of them. Additionally, the core tech teams supported the whole C and its unique technical requirements. Besides release work, the teams rolled out Star Build. Yeah, only singular. The custom code build system and updated Visual Studios to version 2022. Nice. On the renderer transition, in the renderer, transition towards the final version of Gen 12 continued. Nice home stretch. This included enabling the render graph, which utilizes the GPU better with less CPU cost. The team also removed several legacy GPU access APIs, including map and write discard, which won't be supported by Gen 12 due to low-level code complexity. Cool, getting out legacy stuff. The final version, nice. So what that does, moving to better GPU utilization over CPU, it basically means they're going to try and, as you get a better graphics card, run the game better. It is harder to do that on the CPU. Some games do it. A lot of RTSs are much more CPU bound because running a lot of pathing calculations. But they're trying to shift all of their rendering to completely GPU. That way it renders better or faster the better GPU you have, and the CPU can deal with other things. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more balanced. If you want a way farther in-depth than I will ever be able to, there's a SEL where one of the graphics programmers literally showed like frame timings and job timings in the render thread. So very in-depth video, and one of the best ones I've seen. Furthermore, the streaming system received improvements. Great. That's all it says. A quote from the engine team: "We no longer need to maintain a separate code path, and instead update all our objects from within the rendering callback. This reduces code complexity, as we only need to maintain a single code path going forward." Very nice. And reduces memory consumption as well. Very, very, very nice. The engine team, nice, super nice. That's a big win right there. Reduces complexity and gets massive gains. That's an amazing win. The team then added more strict debug modes.
Gains. Massive gains.
All I'm thinking is SpongeBob on the beach with the bodybuilders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Debugging strict high-level checks for the ECUS code to detect the report potential. Just gonna start the entire sentence because it's all one sentence. The team then added more strict debugging modes and high-level checks for the ECUS code to detect and report potential race conditions earlier.
ECUS is Entity Component Update Scheduler.
Yes, I've forgotten that one.
It's the thing that tells us when the game should update the state of entities. based off a
Yes.
schedule, based off of priorities. So,
And Northern Trooper says, please, FSR3 and SC, please. We're not talking about the first panel in CitizenCon. That's all I'll say. Also, the entity system side, more strict checks were added to entity access functions to ensure that only happens on threads where it's permitted. Apparently, they had some people taking threads or some services taking threads they shouldn't have been on. For the editor, time was spent enabling entity streaming code to allow the designers to work more with the PU's significant amount of content more easily. This was done last month as the team first had to get the foundation of streaming working. Interesting. The editor also had more complexity than the pure game, as objects can also be modified. On the physics side, the team is currently adding numerous improvements to the simulation, which will be revealed soon. We are not talking again about the first panel in CitizenCon.
Physics. What things have been going on with the physics engine?
Ropes! What the frick are they doing with the ropes?
Maelstrom.
We've been having about rope physics for like a year or more.
Maelstrom.
Like, what on earth are they doing?
Maelstrom.
Yeah. Like soft body simulation, blah 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 blah. What are they doing with the ropes?
Kinky.
I want to go up to port and I want to just throw out a rope and pull my spaceship into dock. Maelstrom is a physically based damage system. So down memory lane we go into this rant. There was a time when Chris Roberts had mentioned Beam MG, which was originally on CryEngine, which is the engine that Star Citizen started with. After hitting many limitations, they moved to a custom physics engine for BeamNG. But basically, the entire physics engine of BeamNG was basically everything was physicalized. Every strut was physicalized in the cars that you drove. All the panels could be meshed like crumpled, and basically the cars could break apart very systemically and catastrophically. And there was a mention by Chris back when that he would love to aim for a fully soft body physics simulation for ships. Maelstrom is a step in that direction. I'm not saying it's anywhere near that, but it's a step in that direction. So at least the Kraken commercial where you run into a ship and it explodes, at least that. But if they can get a little bit of soft body onto the armor and it crumples as you hit stuff and get dents and things, I would really like that. Like, I really want that. I want some crumple. I like good crumple armor. I play a lot of Space Engineers, so they have procedural physically based damage, and it crumples the armor. Finally, in the engine teams, supported network teams on server meshing and worked with the location teams to make more efficient use of low-level engine resources. Finally, back to you for features, characters, and weapons.
All right, character and weapon features. Yeah. Alongside squashing a significant number of bugs for Alpha 320, many of the features worked on this year received a second pass to improve quality and feel. For example, the slide mechanic saw updated velocity curves with steeper initial acceleration, alongside improved screen effects. For the new prone motion set, work was done to stabilize the player character's wrists in first-person view. Some initial updates were made, though the team now has a longer-term plan to further improve the visuals. And that's it for character and weapon features. Back to you for gameplay features on the PU side.
And it is similarly as short. The EU-PU team continued working towards the release of the ship tractor, or the ship tractor T. Is that a typo?
What?
That's a typo.
What?
The EUPU team continued working towards the release of the ship tractor team.
Oh, yeah, ship tractor beam. There's a whole
That's not
team.
me, right? That says it on there too, right?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, cool. It's supposed to be a B.
We have to release the ship tractor team in order to
The
get
ship tractor team.
beams.
We replace the beams. Now it's a team. It's a crew of people you get on your ship, and they just push it.
Mhm.
You tell them when to push it. The ship tractor team.
They all daisy chain together.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's like the barrel of monkeys.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Including an update to the general salvage HUD to allow it to show tractor beam information. This is still a work in progress. Several important bug fixes were made for Alpha 320, including fixing instability problems with server performance and adding a temporary fix to the speed of hull scraping. The team also made significant progress on structural salvage, formerly vehicle munching, and continued their ongoing work on the resource network. I imagine that's because the previous name was harboring some less than above board
Long
reputation.
live vehicle munching. This is just like calling Twitter X. I refuse. It is still Twitter. It is
structural
not X.
salvage. I like. So I'm sorry. I'll be switching.
It is vehicle munching. I'm gonna munch those vehicles.
The Merlin does that enough to the Connie.
Those vehicles have
I don't
been
think
very, very naughty, and I'm going to munch them late into the night. Yeah, they can't take away my munching. But of course, they're changing the name of vehicle munching to structural salvage, but now they're calling it resource network again instead of resource management.
Or engineering gameplay.
Yeah.
Pyro station, stations, ruin station.
I mean, I get not calling it engineering gameplay because engineering gameplay is the gameplay that interacts with the resource management system.
This is the feature gameplay team. It's literally in their name.
Yeah. It's got sexual much faster than usual.
This is why they changed the name.
Yeah, it's like when you put an address into Google Maps, and we've got the time to beat. Not the. Yeah. I'm not trying.
Oh, vehicle munching and cutting tier 2 or salvage, like it's all bad. It's all bad. Everything's bad all the time.
That UI though.
Yes, let's talk about that UI.
Who was just talking? Yeah, the Platinum Fox mentioned that UI is so clean. Yeah, it is. It is looking good. It is so good.
The only thing I would want in addition to this, and this is strictly a personal thing, is I would like a grid in the middle where the AR shows up. Because it looks very gamey that you have this overlay on the pieces, and it doesn't look like it's trying to be an AR screen.
Okay.
And that's a very pet peeve thing. It looks very gamey because it does. There's no context to say you're looking at a screen in front of you that's projecting onto the mesh of the ship.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, other than that, super clean. Love all the little intricacies. How it like bumps out at the top bit to get the hashes in there. Super cool.
The only thing we need now is the updates to the the base HUD stuff, because the base vehicle HUD and it still overlaps with things, and that's the thing that drives me nuts. Is this is over.
Ooh,
but
there's something on here that everyone wants right now. Gear VTOL coupled ESP locking targeting auto are dots, not bold text to signify
so much
whether it's on
more,
or not.
So much more.
People have been like absolutely losing their mind in this patch because of how slightly the UI changes when you have gear down. Like you have to like toggle it a couple times until you figure out which one's off and on.
Yeah. And I just landed on my belly again for the third time this evening.
Yeah. You have a raid to
Oh,
respond to.
Renoxus just raided with a party of 19. Thank you so much for the raid, Renoxus. Very generous
Hello,
of you.
welcome.
Really appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. I am Tree0311 here with my partner.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nazeris from the Nova Forge.
We are the Pathfinders, and this is episode 58 of the Pathfinders podcast, and we're just going through the September monthly reports for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. We combine the two so that way we read the things bit by bit, and so you know what's from the Squadron report, what's from the PU report, and what is combined between the two. So thank you so much for joining us. We are just finished with the gameplay feature team on the PU side. So thanks for coming and hanging out. And if you're new to the channel, new to the show, just to let you guys know, it is entirely charity driven at all times. Moobot clutch with the post. But we are always raising money for stackup.org. Any and all monetization from Twitch and YouTube that I get, I donate in their entirety to stackup.org, as well as round up to the next highest $50. So just by hanging out and watching a few ads, you're donating to charity. Hey, cattail. So I appreciate your support.
So say we all.
So say we all. And we have cool, I think, and I have no bias whatsoever to declare, but I think that my bits are the best bits on Twitch because they're crayons, and I'm a former Marine. And if you don't understand the joke, well, hop in my Discord and I'll tell you. I am the Crayon Emperor, the Lord Crayon Emperor. Yeah. So anyway, it's back to, are we on mission features now?
Yep.
Mission features for me.
Yep. Go ahead.
But blue is the better flavor. So, no. But at the same time, yeah, red. Red and gold are the Marine Corps colors, and
okay. I see.
Red is the best color crayon.
So obviously, orange and white.
Objectively, it is science.
So orange and white are the best.
Oh God. Anyway, so mission features. Mission features continued their work on modularizing the new player experience. Last month, New Babbage saw its first working version, with the team currently focusing on polish. I think we're going to see the new player experience added to New Babbage for IAE, and IAE will be at New Babbage.
But I'd just like to say one thing about the new player experience and the, and we'll probably see it again in branding, possibly. No, they don't talk about brand.
Was it
New Babbage gets a Kelto.
Ooh, nice.
I can't wait. That was in the sprint ISC sprint report. Like, oh my gosh, more Keltos, please. Like, they are such a good store for the game of Star Citizen, and also it's one of the few places you can buy food in bulk.
Yeah, it's the ultimate quick stop. Yep.
I love it. Like, are there Kelto shirts? There needs to be I need an IRL and an in-game Kelto shirts.
I would buy an IRL Kelto shirt, and it would confuse people so badly.
CIG, make it happen. Kelto shirts.
I can't hear or see Kelto without hearing Board Gamer's commercial that he did for Kelto.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you never saw that? Oh,
I probably did.
At the end of the podcast, I'll pull it up and you'll see.
Okay.
So I was talking to Salty Mike, and he said that the reason that we don't have mining missions, because we got the salvage missions, and the mining missions were basically the resource rush. We're supposed to be basically the same thing as the salvage missions, but for mining. And the reason we don't have them is they required support from another team, and they haven't gotten it yet. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully they'll get that support for the mining mission soon, and we can get those in game. Because I do think it's kind of
call it as first patch of next year.
Maybe, yeah. And I don't know what that support is. I just, that's what he paraphrased for me, because he had asked Elliot, right? Yeah, Elliot.
Yeah.
Various mission content was also worked on, including the reactivation of the Crusader platform missions, which tentatively passed its go no-go review. Blockade Runner also progressed through development following internal playtests and feedback. So the Crusader platform missions, but I think the new retrieve consignment missions are supposed to be on the Crusader platforms, or new Crusader platforms. I've been trying to get them in 321. I don't
Last
know
I
how
knew in PTU they were broken again.
Oh, they're broken. Okay, that's why. Yeah, because
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, I already have the one patch made and the logo for when I do relic expeditions with lore. Whoops. And so this is the other logo I had made for when I do my solo gameplay, because my solo gameplay is in my Drake Cutter and going and doing retrieval operations and looting everything while completing the mission. And so my Drake Cutter is the one that's in the olive drab and orange. I forget what skin that is, and it's affectionately named the Loot Goblin. And I had this commissioned, and I'm going to make this into a patch as well, similar to this one that I had made for Vomit Comet Relic Expeditions. Vomit Comet being the affectionate nickname for my Anvil Valkyrie, due to my erratic but totally tactical flying maneuvers. So yeah, more patches coming, because I'm working on establishing a charity-driven loot store, a charity-driven merchandise store. So that way, if you want to buy a patch,
You should definitely call it a
collectible
loot
patch,
store.
or stickers, or I might even end up having t-shirts made. It'll be the cost of production and shipping plus like $2 or $2.50 as a donation towards stackup.org. So that's the long-term plan for these, but I'm super excited about.
Here's gonna be like you're basically gonna be a storefront. Like you're just gonna make so much money for them. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm able to start playing more Star Citizen and doing more streaming, then eventually, like, I might, keep a little bit something for myself as a little reward for my efforts. But this is just a thing that I enjoy doing, and it's fun to do with the community. But it's another avenue to show your support for stackup.org. But I think this came out really well, and this is done by they go by Fizzlefuse on Discord, but also on Twitter. So if you ever see them, they did this work, and they did the my Vomit Comet as well. So yeah, I feel you, Blue Wolf. I don't get to play SC as much as I would like, because I am a space dad. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to coming hanging out, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have a full-time job, and I'm also in the Army National Guard. So my the playtime I have is limited. But what I do have time for when I'm at work is I have downtime where I get to read about Star Citizen and research about Star Citizen. So here we are. So yeah, sorry, mission features. Various mission content was also worked on, including the reactivation of the Crusader platform missions, which tentatively passed its go, no-go review. Blockade Runner also progressed through development following internal playtests and feedback. I hope we will see it before the end of the year. I would really love it if they launched it for the end of the year patch, so it's something we have to play with over the holiday break.
That would make sense. Data collection for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fingers crossed. Because it does sound like it would be fun gameplay. I would love to do blockade running, in smaller cargo ships and such.
A better time to launch it would be right after Invictus.
Oh, during a free fly while it's still running, that would get them.
Yes, and also the Polaris is known to be a blockade runner. So just stack all the things on top of each other would make the servers absolutely break the second you turn it on.
Kid on the way, full-time job, Army Reserve, and grad school. Same. Yeah, I'm going to be adding the school thing come spring because I have to go back and retake my prerequisites to apply for PA school. So I have a degree, but my degree is like over a decade old, and so in order to apply for PA school, I have to redo the hard classes, and I'm like, oh god.
Give knowledge so we can also be the blockade.
Oh, that would
Nautilus,
be a
two
fun
Nautilus plus the
thing to make.
Kraken.
Yeah. I am the blockade. Instead of I am the law, I am the blockade.
Yep.
Yeah. The Steel Evidence mission passed Go No Go and has been activated for Alpha 321. I haven't had a chance to check that out. While the design for a courier version of the Steal and Recover Cargo mission moved in production. Hopefully, so they said that they are waiting. The full version of the new cargo missions are waiting on the freight elevators. And so in the meantime, they're doing the smaller courier size version of it. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to have these in for before the end of the year, because that would be really great to be able to have those for smaller level cargo, I guess you'd say, smaller volume, but recovering it, that's my kind of gameplay. Salvage and retrieval. The retrieval is all.
That'd be really cool if you're like,
about.
hey, Caterpillar crashed, and instead of like going to retrieve black box or search the crew, you're going and picking up boxes.
Yeah, pick up the box, or pick up specific boxes. Like, hey, we need this back.
Yeah.
The new blockade mission with the Nautilus would be crazy.
Heck,
yes.
I would actually be completely down for like big cargo ships. Like, you're there to clean up the wreck, and it's gonna take you 15 minutes to half an hour to pick up all the boxes. Like, that's kind of what I've been waiting for with cargo gameplay, is like loading the ship by hand. I've kind of been waiting for that, so I would absolutely be down for a cargo mission where it's like, hey, a ship crashed, go pick up the boxes, scrub them.
Okay, sorry, sidetracked.
That's fine.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Further polish was made on Data Heist, which we just saw on ISC 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Including internal playtests in preparation for its debut. Siege of Orison 1.1 entered the... I forget what QATR stands for.
I know they're basically forms for QA. So QA, quality assurance, testing, request.
Oh, Gary, yep. The quality assurance testing request. So this is hey, we need QA to work on it before it gets put into a build.
Yeah, basically go test this thing in this.
Yeah. Where it will be tested, it makes sense, where enter the QATR phase, where it will be tested for stability and performance issues ahead of future activation. The team also continued to look at and balance the cargo manifest system for bounty and salvage missions. And designs were pitched for long-term reputation goals. Excellent.
What?
Ship Trespass has passed its gate review and is approaching a release-ready state, which we also just saw.
That'll be before the end of the year. That'll be nice.
Yeah. So Platinum Fox just asked, how many large ships does CAJ have completed that they are waiting for server meshing to push them to the game? Northern Troopers, right? The Idris and Javelin are really being held back by Squadron 42 in terms of player ownable ships. As far as the things that are in the backlog, I doubt there are any ships in the backlog that are done, that are just waiting for server meshing. Although Sea Daddy's in here taunting us. How dare you? Yeah, okay. I think Northern Trooper is right. I misread the question. Yeah. Backpedal faster, Jaden.
But also, obviously, we don't have the full interiors to the Javelin, the Bengal when they show up. There's a reason.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All the spoiler this and that.
Well, not just spoiler, but server performance. And if the Javelin is an in-service Javelin and we don't see those people come off the Javelin, there's like 80 plus people on that thing, and having to run those NPCs is not happening right now.
We don't have the ship interior culling in game yet, just because it wasn't a priority until after server meshing is in. And so we do need
a
ship interior
requirement
culling.
for Dynamic 1, I believe.
Oh, I think after static is when they'll get that in, because they definitely want that in before
because
they
it
really
was
start
on
making...
it was on the roadmap, and then they said, hey, this is actually a feature that we're going to be tackling for dynamic server meshing, so we actually don't need it for static, so we're just going to move it because we want to focus on getting static out first.
Yep.
I think that was also reflected in the unofficial roadmap.
Yeah. And that's it for mission features. Back to you for vehicle features on the PU side.
All right. In September, the vehicle gameplay team focused on bug fixing and quality of life support for Alpha 320. The flight balance, health, and stability of some ships were tweaked to improve the overall balance too. The team also provided feature support for the resource network, allowing items placed inside interior object containers to be connected to the network, such as doors and lights. That's a big thing right there. That
is
literally like what they've been waiting on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's also a prerequisite for modularity.
Yep, because modules are internal.
And they need to connect to the resource network. And having that finally in is... We're not talking about the system count schedule.
Yeah. This was unlocked by the work on the Hull C.
Yes, thanks, Halsey.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to you for story gameplay, Squadron 42.
Finally, back to the Squadron 42 side.
I know, right?
Gameplay story. All right, the gameplay story team supported a performance capture shoot and made improvements to a range of scenes across the campaign. The team then used some of the new motion capture data to create a scene with a key character entering and using an airlock. A long start idle was also added to a 3-person scene early in the game. A console interaction was improved, and props were finished and polished for a large mess hall scene. A new way to trigger lines while animations are already playing was documented, so it can be used in other areas across the game too.
I want to see IGN's mega flippin' stupid. They're still working on the mess hall crap story. Like, oh my god! Like, because a lot of people do assume. I've seen it said that people do assume, or some people, very few people, but some people assume every time they mention the mess hall, they've been mentioning the same mess hall. And this is very well written to say there is more than one mess hall scene. So every time you come back to the Idris, almost every time I would imagine, you come back to the Idris, there is a social part of the game, which does very frequently happen to be in the mess hall. Like, there will always be people milling about to go and talk to in the mess hall.
It's the Squadron 42 version of the bar on the carrier. Every time you came back from a mission, you had the option to go to the there's a bar, or almost like a 10 forward on the Tiger's Claw and the other ships and such, where you could go back and you click on the little animated image
you
of
wrong.
What?
Blizzrad trying to be weird. Spelled you wrong.
But yeah, it's where you would be able to click on the different characters hanging out in the bar and progress with the social aspect of the story. And this was the early the predecessor to what we have in Starfield now, with your character development of your other people on your team, and Mass Effect, and what's the other, Dragon Age, all that. It's the predecessor to that. When you assume what, Blizzrad? What are we talking about assuming?
Oh, I said assume something in the Idris something.
Oh. But yeah, that's it for gameplay story. Back to you for graphics and VFX programming, which is shared. So we'll just stay here on the Squadron side.
I use assume instead of using the long form of I can reasonably assume or reasonably conclude. So assume was said about 52,435 times. I assume that's
accurate.
Correct.
Nice.
In September, the graphics team progressed with several in-development features. For example, the new water simulation and rendering system have now have their fundamental building blocks complete. Not building blocks as in building blocks UI, but their core features. And are currently being balanced to ensure they look good under the game's huge variety of conditions. Very nice. I find it interesting that they it's kind of like, yeah, water simulation's pretty much done. The rendering system is pretty much done. What? That's kind of a big deal, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The R&D on global illumination was merged into the main branch to see it working across various PU locations. However, a lot of work remains, including major aspects like moving zones, characters, and optimization. We're not talking about CitizenCon.
It's in the main branch, though. It is in the main branch. And just like months ago or a year ago, people were like, well, Star Citizen's dated. Squadron 42 is going to be dated by the time it comes out because it doesn't have global illumination or ray tracing. And here we are. They've been talking about it for months.
Yeah, it's... As long as a game is in development, they will continue to do graphics updates.
Yep. In development,
even post-launch.
And more importantly, if you have your own engine support people and you're not having to depend on a third party to do all this for you. Because once they've gotten your money to get access to your engine, the level of support that they're going to give you drops dramatically.
Yep. Sullivan has a job for life. Absolutely.
And is always welcome on ISC. Anytime. 100%. Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. Work also continued on long-term features, such as fire support for entities, a screen space occlusion effect for gas clouds to increase their lighting detail, and support for Maelstrom.
What's going on. And support for Maelstrom, the new physics destruction system.
The new physics destruction system. Yes.
We're not talking about the schedule for Citizen. We are not
talking about Star Citizen Citizen schedule. That's correct. That's why we're going straight back to you for in-game branding.
Let's see, and that's on the PU side. So in-game branding,
ray tracing is not NVIDIA owned. NVIDIA does not own the words ray tracing in any form. Ray tracing was done back when Pixar started out. They do not own it. It is not Cyberpunk bound. Metro Exodus was one of the very first games that put it in. Battlefield, something had it. It has nothing to do with NVIDIA. Even though AMD is a bit farther behind on the technology, they can do ray tracing as well. NVIDIA was just the people that bullied the entire graphics industry into using it, which, for that, I thank you.
Yeah, you're right, Blizzrad. Not full. I think they pretty much used it to the extent that they needed it.
And I actually had a conversation about that on not a conversation, a couple comments on the captain's table. I said full ray tracing in that, and some guy said something about Cyberpunk 2077. And when you say full ray tracing, you have to qualify it, because there is no computer on the planet Earth right now that can fully ray trace a scene in real time. That's why DLSS and FSR exists. Because even games like Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk does reflections, direct sunlight shadows, and self shadows. It doesn't do, as far as I was looking in somebody's screenshot of the settings, it does not do global illumination. Most games pick 2 of those 3 or of those 4 things. And even then, they're only doing a fraction of the total pixels needed, and then using DLSS or some version of denoising software to finish the image. So to assume the pixels in between. If you want to know how long it takes to actually fully ray trace a scene, open up Blender and hit F12. We will get there. I just don't know how soon. But global illumination and reflections are 2 of the biggest ways you can change a game using ray tracing. Because real-time reflections using ray tracing means you don't have to put in any type of double camera to make the mirrors work, like a lot of games do. And GI basically finishes, like, refines the lighting edges. Like, the corners look proper. Shadows don't look like there's a backlight on everything. I think it's the 2 biggest ways is
and it also reduces the workload for the lighting team dramatically by not having to go in and individually set up scenes to fake the lighting to make it look that level of good or near that level of good.
True, but the problem is right now is how many people are on not capable, and I'm going to say capable as in can do 30 FPS in a single featured ray trace scene. So even though we're going to get ray tracing and the lighting team's going to absolutely go ham with it, they're going to still have to support traditional lighting in all their scenes.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately going to add more work instead of reduce it currently.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yep.
Everybody buy
everyone buy a 4090. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Please do not do that.
Yeah.
Please no. Wait a couple generations and buy whatever AMD is doing, because the only way we get better ray tracing is for NVIDIA to feel like they're losing. And that's it. NVIDIA is doing the exact same thing. And I'm going to go on a slight rant here. The exact same thing Intel did when they had 4 cores. AMD was nowhere near their level of processors for almost 10 years. And so Intel gave you how many cores for those 10 years? 4. The second Ryzen showed up, you had 16 cores coming out from Intel. So NVIDIA is going to be like, oh, we have the top. Let's slow down how much performance you get gains per generation. And we've already seen that happening since the 20 series. And they'll hike the prices and give you less upgrades per generation. So I really hope both Arc and Navi can get up to some level of competition with NVIDIA's top end soon. Anyway, supposed to be reading something? Are you supposed to be reading something?
Yeah, in-game branding, me. Last month, the branding team progressed with navigational signage for the exterior of the underground facilities. Oh boy. They also created holograms and assembled navigational signage for an upcoming event.
I know what that is.
Yeah, I
love how they're like, oh no, it's an upcoming event. We can't tell you what it is.
Yeah. You can't guess it. You can't guess it. Okay.
Oh boy. Interactables. The Interactables team progressed with various upcoming content, including a variety of new style props and supported the ongoing development of the new underground facilities and this amazing image.
Yes, this is super cool. This is
So
amazing.
if you look really closely at the back of the med pens, it looks like there's more in there. So there's not only 4 in this box. It's kind of like spring loaded.
Yeah, no, it's a big old case of med pens and Oh gosh, I'm brain farting on what the green ones are.
Medical slurry? The Cure Life medical slurry. It's Becta.
Yeah.
Green Becta.
So, my
They had a cigar
my
case
theory is that the healing beam is going to go away, and your paramed device or your other one is going to be like a hypo spray thing, and you have to inject it. And the reason why is because the reason we had the healing beam is so they didn't have to do all the animation stuff, because that system wasn't done. And we have had multiple monthly reports that have talked to us about the dynamic animations, or ability to generate dynamic animations to connect you with a point without having to do it by hand. And they're built that system so that way, regardless of the setup of the buttons in your ship, if you press this button, your character, will press the right button or flip the right switch on the ship. And if they can do that, they can do it so that way, hey, you're next to a person, you initiate okay, press this button to heal, and it will grab them and jab them in the arm or jab them in the chest or wherever they want it to be. So
I think it would be really cool if
or inject with the gun to make it.
I think it would be really cool
legit.
If eventually in the medical gameplay we get location-based healing. And so you have to do certain medical treatments on certain parts of the body.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Instead of just like med pen in the forehead and it heals the leg kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I do like this though, because you could deploy this and be like, hey, it's just like in other games. Like, here's your medical box, and you come back here and refill your med kit or whatever, or you get healed, by grabbing bandages out of it. It's very Arma or Postscriptum or Hell Let Loose, that sort of stuff. Battlefield even. Yeah.
Yep, Battlefield. I've seen the basically almost every time. Most of Level Cups games are Battlefield, and I always see like somebody dropping the med kit.
Cool. No Aether Drift, nice. It's tech that they have developed for other things, and that I think that they'll be able to use it for medical gameplay. They have talked extensively when people have asked about why beams for everything, and they have straight up told us that they have the beams for things in order to be able to do the thing and set up the system and get it working without having to do all the animations.
Lasers, my dude.
And making specific animations for things, because the amount of work would be immense to have to set up the animation for different positions, or to have to lock people in for certain positions for animation. And so, and trust me, I've got the timestamps from when Jared has talked about this sort of stuff. And so it's just they did it that way for the initial implementation of medical gameplay. We're going to get more diegetic, legitimate medical gameplay going forward. It's just this is my opinion, backed up by what's been said by CIG, especially given how much emphasis there is on the value of medical gameplay and the role that it plays in the verse of Star Citizen. So yeah.
And then to you with lighting.
Yep. Lighting. One sentence. Lighting continued their work across multiple initiatives. They mainly focused on pyro. Performance improvements were made across Stanton too. This looks like it's inside a station, maybe?
Is that why it looks so weird?
I think so.
That would make sense. Maybe this is the part of the shanty town in ruin. Or not. Dun dun dun. Maybe it's a shanty town inside of a Stanton station. Is that ray trace, do you think? No. No. Look at where the light's not directly hitting.
Yeah.
And if it looks like it's well lit, it's not ray traced. So it... Yes.
Yeah, this is a really cool shantytown. I think this is definitely in one of the pyro stations. But between this image and then this image, cool. Super cool. More derelicts, more of this shantytown stuff. I love it. Like, yeah.
All
and
right.
that's back to you for I did
Locations.
lighting, your locations. Oh, so
This is my redemption for not being able to do the economy team. Locations EU with one of the prettiest images we've seen in a while, I think. Last month, the location team continued developing a variety of new locations for Pyro. They also worked on several legacy locations in pursuit of maintaining the wider Stanton system, and supported the mission feature team on one of their upcoming initiatives.
Pretty image. What is important about this image, everyone? Chat, Nazeris.
It exists.
It exists. It exists. This is a UGF. Where is this UGF?
Microtech.
This is on Microtech. This UGF is on Microtech. This UGF is not on a planet in the Pyro system.
I can only imagine how big their Rastar plate is for the medium UGF area that it has to like flatten up all the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because as far as I know, as far as we've seen, the Rastar tool doesn't have anything but discs as far as their template goes for flattening the terrain, which means from end to end is how wide that disc is going to be as well of this UGF. So from the pipes over yonder to the edge of the building over here, that's how also wide this disc is, and it's just going to flatten out this massive area. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that or not wrong with that. I'm just observation, just very interesting, very flat, large area for lots of good things.
To me, this looks like a ramp, like a drive-up ramp right here, where my mouse cursor is. And then scroll over to the right. Here's another drive-up ramp. Here's all this like parking area, loading area. Here's a pad. Here's a pad.
Scroll down a bit.
Down or the back on the mother report, yeah. But if you look at this, and then look at this.
Yeah.
And so these ramps are where when we have roads, because where we're going, we actually do need roads. When we have roads, when we have the dynamic road system, these will be just connection points that connect this to other locations. So,
yeah, and I can imagine like satellite outposts for UGFs. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the reason why this is important is because the UGFs up until recently have been purposefully built in the editor in Pyro to make sure that they don't slip into a build somehow and get dropped into Stanton. And now, very recently, in the leaks, we have had some things that were UGF related in the data mine.
That
and
leaked.
Coincidentally, that leaked. And coincidentally, we also now have this image of a UGF on a planet in the Stanton system. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
the second image really makes me think of Bridges facilities in Death Stranding.
Yeah. Did you already read this?
Nope. The Sandbox and Organics team progressed with several upcoming locations, including Pyro and the new underground facilities. And then you got level design in Squadron.
This is a really cool image, though. I really like this.
It is. I don't get tired of looking at it. The only thing I get tired of is the not ray traced bits that I see. Because the ladders don't look like they're attached to the building because that backlighting is bad. The boxes look like they're floating because no shadows. It's just because it's on the back end of the building from where the sun's coming from,
Mhm.
and we have a backlight in Star Citizen. Everything is backlight, so it
Yeah.
when it's pitch black, it's not pitch black.
The lighting team has not done their pass on this yet. So yeah, narrative, right? Narrative for me.
No, level design, squadron.
Level design. Oh, squadron. Is that your cat?
Yep.
Sounds like a kid. Level design. The level design team continued to make progress on their Idris interstitials. Along with the usual bug fixing and scene iteration, they completed the back end of the reputation system. Now the Idris crew will track a player's reputation via interactions. Sarah Morgan liked this.
Yeah.
For example, selecting a negative, neutral, or positive conversation option, or walking off mid-conversation. Yeah, I know you bore me. I'm done.
Ooh, they're gonna tie it to reputation. Can you imagine all the
Mhm.
people who didn't read this and are just
Yeah.
gonna be like, "You're not saying anything," and just walks away.
Yep. Skip.
Like reputation with ex crew member decreased.
Yeah. Ex-crewmer did not like this. Your Gladius did not get restocked in time for your mission. The team then moved on to Fortune's Cross. Blizzrad, do you still have that link handy? If you can you
I'm
drop
sorry.
it in chat?
What the heck is that?
If Blizzrad can come through, I will show you guys.
Where
the team
did
then
we
moved on.
hear about it?
You're gonna find out here in a second. Blizzrad's
Okay.
Blizzrad's got you. He's got you. This is why
Why
Blizzrad's
don't I
a
know
mod.
about this? I
It has
feel like I
nothing to
should
do
know this
with
though.
with Blizzrad's other qualities. The team then moved on to Fortune's Cross
No,
using
I know what
the-
he quoted.
using the
Aether
background. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Using the background AI to enhance its past its sell-by date shopping mall at 4 a.m. aesthetic, which is a great description. I love that. For example, they added NPCs lazily eating noodles, warily sipping on a coffee, or carrying out shady transactions. And that's just a Tuesday afternoon for me. So they also completed additional work on a social section in Chapter 1. We have our narrative scenes set up, but to reinforce the tone, we now have the background crew carrying out maintenance and repairs, watching frontline reports, and writing messages to loved ones, level design team. And the speed with which Blizzrad found that link after me seeing this and copying and pasting it into my Discord was unprecedented. So watch this, folks.
So, Aether Drift
Or Serene.
said skip. Wait, what? Why do you hate me? I'm pretty sure was a reference to Viva La Dirt League NPC man.
Yep. I love Viva La Dirt League. Cracks me up.
On the first scanner.
So let's make this big.
Why don't I know about this?
Simulations like the coil to softer, more serene bodies of gas just floating in space. This gives both art and design a great amount of scope to make our space scenes look amazing and convey a message or mood to the player.
Koto!
From a design standpoint, we aim to strike a balance between plausibility, reality, and cool-looking visuals. This tech, once perfected here in Squadron 42,
Fortune's Cross is a station in the Odin system.
will also be applied to various systems in Star Citizen's PU. The prop team continues to turn out control.
And actually, if we go back farther...
How do you remember this? And I just am so nowhere. Like I
don't.
remember this video
Blizzrad did.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
so Blizzrad saw this.
Yeah. You'll
Also-
see the
Blizzrad,
results.
how did you remember this video existed?
So here's Odin 2. Here's the jump point from Odin to Kellogg. Here's the Fortune's Cross station in orbit around Odin 2 and a comms relay. And this is like placeholder stuff. But so yeah, they're talking about a station, a named station in the Odin system in orbit around Odin 3.
This is Odin system spacescaping. Part of our recent focus on S42 development has been working on our space scene overworld, or as we call it within the project, our spacescape. Through development on the coil, the engineers have been busy building the amazing gas cloud tech. But it isn't just confined.
So yeah, talking about gas cloud tech back in May 2018, and now look at the gas clouds that we have now in the PU around the jump points. Yeah. This was the tier 0 version of gas clouds, and that tech has progressed and gotten so much better over time as they've continued to use it and update it. But yeah, that's where the Fortune's Cross station is in orbit around Odin 3.
Amazing.
Legends
Officer Googled, but like, did you just Google when you saw this? You just Googled Fortune's Cross and found that. That's fair. that's fair. That's what I was about to go do. So.
Yep. They also completed additional work on a social section in Chapter 1. We have our narrative scene set up, but I did? Okay.
Yep.
Back to you for...
PU narrative.
PU narrative.
We're actually going to be jumping back anyway. At the beginning of September saw the narrative team closing out any remaining bugs for the release of Alpha 320. Looking ahead, the team completed work on another batch of missions for Pyro organizations, and gangs. Additionally, they continued working on several new missions for Stanton, including Blockade Runner and Data Heist. Scripts were also written for automated computer systems that will be used in missions and at new locations. Hacking much?
Soon TM.
How do you... This is an interesting... Scripts were written for automated computers. It's very interesting. The narrative team is writing scripts for computers. The narrative design team continued improving the lives of AI around both Stanton and Pyro with more naturalistic behavior patterns. Several discussions were held focusing on how they can better capture the feel of Pyro based on how its NPC population behaves at stations and outposts. On the website, the team published a weekly's guide to the Santoki, another thought-provoking batch of Lorebreaker's community questions, as well as a variety of Galactopedia entries. Subscribers can also read additional lore entries additional lore entry every 2 months in Jump Point magazine before it becomes available anywhere else. Jumping back to the Squadron 42 side.
There we go.
The narrative spent the first half of the month supporting the recent performance capture shoot. They also continued to meet with various level designers and leads to make final tweaks based on the latest level updates. Final tweaks, huh? Quote from the narrative team: "It was an intense 3-week shoot, but it yielded some fantastic performances and moments that will really enrich the overall experience. During the shoot, we also welcomed back some of our original supporting cast for some final pickups." Some people that small child. Yeah, he wants out, and I'm just being lazy. So yeah, like John Rhys Davies, Mark Hamill, the people we know are in the game. They called back for their final pickup, so it will reaffirm Squadron 42 in their minds for sure. The footage captured at the shoot is currently making its way through the content pipeline as editorial selects are pulled and passed along with the animation and audio teams. Additional wild lines based on AI or combat AI feedback and Vandal content were also captured to fill in areas and supply more specific dialogue to support gameplay. With the shoot complete, the team continued tackling many of the game's text needs, from Galactopedia entries to environmental storytelling and collectibles. The team is also passing along script revisions to the localization team. Wow, the narrative team is basically done. I'm gonna go let the cat out.
Galactopedia entries and collectibles. Gib. All right, back to me for online services on the PU side. Online services. September saw the online services team working on the seeding service, a new star service for server meshing. This is a C++ gRPC service that reads data from the game files to seed global, graveyard, and shard databases using the entity graph service. So, when oh gosh, how to explain this? This is needed for server meshing. This is a prerequisite service for server meshing in order to be able to not only server meshing, but for the upcoming crash recovery, being able to server crashes and then being able to dynamically spin up a new server, replacing it from the saved data on the entity graph. And then in the future with dynamic server meshing, when you spawn up a new server in order to subdivide an area, being able to seed that server with only the data it needs and not an entire copy of the game universe. That's why this is important.
Yeah, so the seed service is a base state before before it's a live environment. So even if it's captured, it's a snapshot of it put into the seed layer to then start somewhere so that you can then start making changes to it. It's basically just a snapshot of a state of the entity graph.
Yeah, relative to what entity authority that server is going to have.
Yeah.
And that entity authority will be based off of geography for server meshing.
Interesting.
So,
next paragraph.
Yeah. A refactor of the character customizer began with the goal being to replace the backend used by the current customizer to leverage both the entitlement and identity services to reduce the database load on login and persist DNA and customization across patches.
Oh.
Woot! Finally, your
That's
character
really
that you
cool.
create will persist across patches. So,
and into the PU or PTU.
Yeah. The team also continued to update Easy Anti-Cheat in an attempt to eliminate false positives as well as implement sanctions in the future. Significant time was also spent on database research to resolve some of the recent deadlock issues and explore other potential database providers. And this is what Chris Roberts was referring to in his post a few weeks that we covered in the last podcast, or not this last one, but the previous podcast. I don't think that they're going to have any issue resolving the issues that they're having with the deadlock issues due to load and demand.
Yeah.
But they're also exploring, looking at other database engines. And for everyone who is panicking, like, oh my gosh, they're going to have to rewrite PES and start from scratch. No, that's not how this works. The engine is just what is used to execute and run the database. They don't have to change the database. It's all written off the same graph type language. It would just be a matter of converting it to now use this engine instead of the other engine if they so choose.
I think it was on SCCC SCCCRT. And we talked about the CIG doesn't like to talk about failures until they find a solution. So them talking about their failings with, not necessarily their failings, as they like to deflect a lot, with the database means they're probably closer than not to a solution.
Yeah, that's why CR specifically said in the very near future or something like that. Like, this isn't unfortunately, he didn't quantify why this isn't a big deal, but Danny Ray of Ray's Guide did a very good job of explaining it. He's very technically savvy, and he's like, yeah, this is not a big deal. This is, don't fire and brimstone panic or anything like that. Yeah, the enterprise strength, enterprise grade, database systems. Yeah,
and sure,
there is a lot of competition out there,
but
it's not a deep pool.
Yeah, if they need to find a new one, they get to they have built it, so they know what they're shopping for now, and they can say, "Hey, this company failed. Do you think he can do better?" and get an even better contract.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the company that has the contract right now is heavily incentivized to get this working, because otherwise they lose that contract. And the other thing is, with this contract, it's not a probably not a static one-time thing. This is a recurring thing that probably nets them more money as CIG gets and Star Citizen gets bigger. So it would behoove them a lot to get it working.
Plus, there's always the, for better or worse, being tied to the fame of Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
But
they don't
sure
want to be tied to a failure, though. And Naz, I think it's back to you for R&D.
I have no idea what Neptune in relation to Lumberyard is. However, Lumberyard is not what the database is built on. It is a separate service outside of the game engine. So I'm completely unaware of what Neptune is, but it has nothing to do with the engine itself. R&D. We're not talking about CitizenCon. Done. Now, the R&D team worked on a variety of important updates to the game engine that will be shown to the community soon. Tech art and animation.
Wonder what that might be. Nope, we're not going to talk about it.
Okay, AWS right.
What?
What?
Sext to show new clients.
What? Well, a quick Google search gets you onto text, Megagraph, Neo4j, AWS, possibly Oracle.
All right, tech art animation for and this is shared between Star Citizen and Squadron 42, just like R&D was. Tech art animation supported numerous teams across the project with a wide variety of animation tasks, including asset implementation and maintenance. Great progress was made on creating and implementing creatures across the PU. As part of this, work was done on toolsets for rigging and physics proxy authoring and implementation. Comms calls and dialogue were a major focus in September 2, with the goal being to create content at speed. This has been hugely successful and collates many lengthy manual processes into a singular tool set with a great user interface. Tech Art Animation Team. Finally, they continue to provide additional faces for the game to source from, providing much more variation to NPC populations. Awesome. Nice. And that's it for Tech Art Animation. Back to you for UI, which starts on the PU side and then goes over to Squadron 42.
Yep. I do want to make one single comment on the tech art animation. Another one for the eventual mesh together of the how many times they're going to say goes faster clip.
Oh, yeah.
UI, alongside debugging for Alpha 3.21, the future releases, UI supported mission features on the blockade runner screens, and with final touch-ups for another ongoing mandate. The team progressed with the Reputation app, cool, adding new styles to the item shops, very nice indeed. They're currently doing final test on Pyro's airlock screen. Interesting. And flipping over to Squadron. The UI team looked at conversation text, updating its style to match the rest of the game, or game level screens, such as the radio menus, and after a lot of iteration trying to find the perfect style, a direction for the Drake cockpit UI was unanimously approved and will soon move into production. That's very cool and new. Finally, we get our second manufacturer of screen. The team also began adding AI fluff screens into some of the main levels of the game. A quote from the UI team, overall they look great, though we've spotted a few areas for improvement and have been working on adding some extra variety as well as improving the underlying system so that we can use a single design on differently shaped physical screens. For example, we can make an engineering screen that fits on portrait 16:9 or widescreen terminals. On portrait 16:9 or widescreen terminals in the level, the UI team. The team also polished the visuals and ironed out issues with the visor and HUD or vehicle HUDs as they're used in game and come up against unexpected situations. They're currently polishing the map and radar systems, aka post done, improve the visuals and usability. And then you got VFX both places.
So visor and vehicle HUDs are in polish. The map and radar system is in polish. Soon TM.
We're not talking about CitizenCon.
Not talking about CitizenCon. There's not an entire panel on UI at CitizenCon.
Definitely not.
Nope. VFX on the Star Citizen side. Last month, the VFX team progressed with a variety of pyro locations. Several vehicles were worked on too, with one being completed. They also focused on optimization and bug fixing for Alpha 320. And then VFX for Squadron 42. Last month, VFX continued working with art and design on several locations, helping to add extra polish. They also continued fine-tuning the fire propagation effects. Yes, give the fire.
I think this will be
Cannot
the
wait
first
for that
2
system.
monthly reports in a row that will have 2 different patches in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the monthly report with like all of the like finished up 320 work done 320, and then next one this week work done 321, finished up 321 stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
Wild.
Well, that is it for the monthly reports for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. It is 20 to 11 here, and that means it is like almost
1 o'clock.
Almost 1 o'clock for Nazeris out on the Eastern time. So we're going to have to call it a night. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming in and hanging out and chatting with us this evening. Hope you enjoy the show. Really appreciate you guys being here and being a part of the community. Big thank you to Renoxus for the raid. And I am a bad streamer because I forgot to set up the thing that automatically gives them a shout out and the link to go follow them. So I need to do that. But big thank you to Renoxus for the raid. Thank you for everyone who came over from Renoxus' stream and hung out with us for the rest of the evening. Really appreciate you guys. And Nazeris and I will be back next Monday, where we will be going over the schedule for CitizenCon and talk about what we are expecting and why, with citations and links aplenty. So I will make sure to post that on my Twitter. The event is already in my Discord, but please consider coming and hanging out with us next Monday, because that will be the last podcast until after CitizenCon. And yeah, so thanks again. Thanks so much. And and Naz, you're going to have another SCCRT. Am I putting enough C's in there?
SCCCRT.
SCCCRT. Okay.
Yes.
This upcoming Sunday, right?
Yep. And then the next Sunday will be CitizenCon. And for CitizenCon, we're doing a 40-hour stream, so we're going to be starting that morning. I have to actually work on the schedule in the next 2 days, and I'll have that on the Discord. I'll probably post in your Discord as well, so everyone knows when we're going live.
Cool. By all means, yeah.
Yeah, we'll also be doing a live research show tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's my live research. And then I think on Wednesday we'll be doing PTU gameplay to try and get that whole C from Terra to Magnus jump points.
Oh boy, that's a long jump.
Yep.
Pack don't forget a towel.
Towel and lots of water.
Yeah. Cruise for everybody. Alrighty. Yep. Well, thanks again, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Oh, before we leave, because I'm getting better at being a streamer, we need to raid someone. We need to pay the love forward. Renoxus raided us, so we need to raid somebody else. So, any suggestions on who we should raid this evening? Who should we send some love to? Let me know in chat. I need suggestions because I don't have anybody that I'm following that's on right now.
Does Marcus ever stream?
Who?
Marcus the Way. Does he ever actually stream?
I don't know. I don't know why I followed them. I think they raided me one time, and so I followed them back.
don't think so. He was on earlier. Okay, okay. Like every time I've seen his channel, like the past like 6 months, I just must have terrible timing. It's always playing replay stuff. Like I don't mind that. Like it's a good background thing to have. So and it also has like a bunch of like stuff at the bottom. I don't. The only person I have is like that I follow because I don't watch a lot of streaming content because I want to watch them when I watch, and so I don't have a lot of free time to watch. So
Neofox.
Yep, he's
Sure,
on one of the recommended.
Neofox is playing Star Citizen.
All right.
We are going to raid Neofox. Go show Neofox some love. And again, thanks so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. And we will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Goodbye.